Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. I was mentioning that there may be a tiny bit of the tide turning. I don't know, but perhaps in the way the media approaches and covers gun banners. Gun banners being, of course, Joe Biden being the head gun banner. He's the gun banner in chief, if you will. One of the things I was just looking at, Joe Biden, boy, this is going to sound familiar. If you've listened to my show for any length of time, you've heard this before. He just was talking about the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. It was signed last year. It was a little bit of gun control. It wasn't a lot, but it was something. He was talking about that recently. And he said, of course, we always know it's what they can get. The incrementalism, it's not the end goal. He said, well, for me and for most of you, here's what it really is. It's an important first step. The president said, above all, we agree that we are not finished. We are not finished. We are not finished. For my entire life, every time the gun banners get a gun law passed, after telling us this is what we need, this is going to be the answer, as soon as they sign it and put down the pen, they look up and say, of course, this is not the total answer, but it's a good first step. Two things. You know, if we got 20,000 gun laws on the books, and we do, certainly the next one can't be the first step. But more than that, the question is, well, if this is not what you're looking for, what is it a first step toward? Well, we don't have to wonder. I mean, we know. And occasionally they say the quiet part out loud. Gabby Giffords did that recently. Of course, she's the head of the organization that bears her name, the Giffords Group, one of the major gun ban organizations. She said, no more guns, gone. She specified to the media when she was asked about her goals. No more guns, gone. Now, contrast this with Senator John Cornyn, Republican from Texas, last year, after the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act was passed. I don't know if he's stupid, or if he got conned, or if he's just complicit. But he said, no, we're done. Talk about the latest gun control law. We're done. The sort of things he was calling for don't have support in the Senate or in the Congress or on a bipartisan basis. In other words, we're going to pass this gun law, and then we'll be done. No one's ever going to want to come pass another gun control law. To quote the philosopher Bugs Bunny, what a maroon. Really? They always want more. And they will tell you that if you listen. When Gabby Gifford says, what's the goal? No more guns, gone, she says. And then I look at what CNN, of all places, said this past week. In their story, fact check, Biden makes 5 false claims about guns. Says President Joe Biden, this is CNN. President Joe Biden made false claims about a variety of topics, notably including gun policy, during a series of official speeches and campaign remarks over the last 2 weeks. It continues. This is CNN now. He made at least 5 false claims related to guns, a subject on which he has repeatedly been inaccurate during his presidency. Oh, one of them, okay, we'll go, this is again more CNN. He said, repeating a claim he made in 2022 in the State of Union address and on other occasions, Biden said that, the only industry in America you can't sue is the gun manufacturers. CNN says, facts first, Biden's claim is false. Just flat out. Biden's claim is false. As CNN and other fact checkers have previously noted, gun manufacturers are not entirely exempt from being sued, nor are they the only industry with some liability protections. Notably, there are significant liability protections for vaccine manufacturers and at present for people and entities involved in making, distributing, or administering COVID-19 countermeasures. Interesting that CNN is calling out Joe Biden. Of course, Biden also said that, when the Second Amendment was written, you couldn't own a cannon. Well, yeah, actually, you could. And he says, the Second Amendment tells us which guns you can own. This is Biden saying this. No, have you actually read it? And then he says, I know this subject because I taught law for years, and I taught the Second Amendment. Well, those students ought to get their money back if that's what you were teaching. When the Second Amendment was written, not only could you own cannons, you could own anything. You could own a warship complete with 20 cannons. Perfectly legal. It's frustrating at times, and yet sometimes it's a little bit encouraging. I'm seeing a few cracks in the coverage. Now look, don't get me wrong. I don't think for a minute that America's media is going to start supporting gun rights or the Second Amendment, or they're going to stop their war on legitimate, responsible gun owners. They also are not going to cover defensive gun uses. But fortunately, there are several people who are starting to do that. And online, you can look up defensive gun uses and start seeing lists. And not just like numbers of there's this many per year. And we know there's something on the order of 1 to 2 million per year. But actual stories of this person with this name used her gun to defend herself and her kids. And then here's the next one, here's the next one, here's the next one. When we start getting names and faces associated with people who have used guns to protect themselves and their children, that is powerful. And we should, each of us, all of us, find those and share them everywhere we can. Simple as that. All right, quick break here, 866-TALK-GUN. Open lines for you if you want to join me, if you got a complaint, or if you just got something to share. We're here for you.
It used to be difficult, but now buying a silencer is simple. Thanks to Silencer Central, the folks who reinvented the process. Easy paperwork, easy trust creation, easy filing, easy to choose the silencer that's right for you. Silencers for rifles, pistols, shotguns, and rimfires. Silencer Central even makes it easy to thread the barrel of your gun, so it will take your new silencer. SilencerCentral.com. Silence delivered.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
The Ruger Max 9 is a micro-sized striker-fired 9mm pistol offering 12+1 capacity and a high-visibility tritium fiber day-night front sight. The Ruger Max 9 is optic-ready for direct mounting of co-witness J-point and shield pattern micro red dot sights. Available in 3 different models: manual safety, state-compliant, and pro. The Ruger Max 9 is your next handgun. Find out more at Ruger.com/Max9.
Hey, what have you been shooting? Something old, something new, something cool? Give us a call, 866-TALK-GUN. Brad did that. He's in Elko, Nevada, just south of us here, actually a little bit. Hey, Brad, what you been shooting?
So I recently bought a CSX. It's a Smith & Wesson and 9mm subcompact. Bought it for concealed carry.
Mm-hmm.
I've shot it some, but it has an issue, and I was wondering if you were familiar with it.
Talk to me.
So it has, online they're calling it a false reset. When it fires and you release the trigger for reset, there's a tiny little, barely perceptible, almost, I can only call it a click, before the actual reset. And I've had it happen to me twice. I like to shoot Steel Challenge, and I was shooting Steel Challenge one day, and I fired a shot, and I went to pull the trigger, and nothing happened because the trigger wouldn't move because it hadn't reset yet. And I was wondering if you knew anything, like, Smith & Wesson was going to address that or anything else.
I don't, but I'm curious because I have become, how do I say this, not a fan of people talking about reset on triggers. Because I think if you're shooting a self-defense gun, your fingers should be coming off the dadgum trigger completely and not trying to feel a reset. And if you're shooting fast, you need to, why are we easing our finger forward to try to hear a click or feel a click? I think I'm not clear on why we're doing it that way. So, but if you're shooting a Steel Challenge, you're shooting fast. You're not like trying to feel a reset, are you?
No, I'm not. I shoot it. I shoot it occasionally. I just shoot it for fun. That's all. I usually shoot with my 22, my old Ruger Mark One.
Right.
Love that pistol. So I had just bought it. It's like, hey, I want to shoot it. Oh, Steel Challenges today. Let's go. That kind of thing. And then when I first got the gun, the first several times out with it, it was never an issue. And then, like I said, like I've had twice now, where I've got caught with that.
Well, and I have to admit, I do not know about the issue. I don't have one of the pistols, so I haven't had a chance to find out for myself. But I would offer that maybe you ought to contact Smith and ask them what's going on. What are they going to do about it? And I would love it if you would. If you do, would you let me know what they say?
Sure. It's pretty well known. If you go on like YouTube, there's a bunch of videos where people talk about it.
Okay.
And by the way, I agree with you. You're correct. If you're shooting defensive, your fingers should be coming all the way off the trigger.
Yeah. There you go. Look, I appreciate it, Brad. And look, let me know what you find out on that. Let's talk with Greg in Carson City. Hey, Greg, what's your question here?
Hi, Tom.
Hey there.
Thanks for taking my call. You reminded me just a few minutes ago that you were a left-handed shooter, and so am I. So I'm looking to take a rebarreling course, actually.
Okay.
It's up in Susanville, California. We have an NRA courses up there during the summer.
Right.
And being a left-hander, I'd like to do rebarreling on a like a left-handed Remington 700 action.
Oh, okay, sure.
So my question to you is, how would you find one? Would you buy one just the action itself, or would you look for a gun that had the left-handed one? They're not as well.
I'm actually where you are, because I was thinking the exact same thing about a year ago. I was thinking I'm going to build up a left-handed 700. I'm going to rebarrel it and do all this. I could not find a left-handed barreled action anywhere. I couldn't even find a left-handed action unless, now you can go to the Defiance, and that's basically a Remington 700 model, but you're going to pay $1,000 just for the action. And you can find a used Remington 700 rifle, left-handed rifle, for $800 to $900, and take off the stock and take off the barrel, and there's your action. You could use the stock or sell it or whatever you want to do. But that's what I ended up doing. I ended up just buying a left-handed 30-06 Remington 700. Haven't done anything with the project yet, partly because I suffer from paralysis through analysis. I can't decide what caliber I want to do.
How about a 6mm 06?
Huh. Well, possibly. If I were going to do that, I would probably just do a 6mm Remington, because that's weird. It's just as weird as a 6mm 06. You know where I'm thinking, and this is going to sound stupid. I'm actually thinking about going to a 35 Whelen. Like, okay, I'd need that like a hole in the head, but it's just I always thought that was a cool caliber. So I was thinking of rebarreling it to that, and I have a couple of left-handed stocks around that I could throw it into. But I don't know. It's like, I got the 7mm and I got the 25s and all of that. I'm thinking maybe I just rebarrel it with a quality 30-06 barrel and make it a 30-06. As silly as that sounds. What caliber are you going to go with?
I was actually thinking about doing a 308, but doing a short barrel, like a 16-inch barrel.
Sure.
There's some people doing that. I've shot a 20, but I was thinking about doing something like that, or going to maybe a longer one with carbon fiber, something like that, just to learn and
Right.
how to do it. So.
I understand. And if it were me, I probably would not do a 16-inch. I mean, you're not gaining much in terms of maneuverability or lightness. I'd probably go 18 to 20 is probably where I would be. But yeah, a short-ish barrel 308 is a really nice tool. You could do an awful lot with it. And if you're going to be shooting out to 500 yards or so, you'll be just fine with that thing. I wouldn't worry about it. Pretty cool. I thought about that too, but since I've got a long action and it's a 30-06, well, I might as well stay with 30-06. Maybe just put a premium barrel on. I don't know. Give me some ideas. What would you do?